How do they keep doing this? How do Arsenal, whenever there's a question being asked, they have the answer? As you can tell, not in the normal setup. Currently in Brighton. Apologies for the lack of content today. Didn't get to cover the Liverpool or the Chelsea game. Here now, about to leave. I've just watched that. And I thought they were going to slip up. Gabriel Jesus, off the bench, involved. Saka today, involved. The narrative tonight... Oh, the window wipers are going off now. The narrative tonight will be Arsenal were lucky 2 own goals. And Wolves deserves credit. Showed a bit of character towards the end. Not Arsenal's most unbelievable performance today, but a win's a win. And when you're in a title race, the only thing that matters is those 3 points. And they have now put huge pressure on Manchester City tomorrow, who play Wolves. Play Crystal Palace. When I look at the lineup today, I thought Arteta, throughout predominantly of the lineup, I thought he got most things right. A lot of people should have said he should have benched Declan Rice. Some people should have said he should have started Gabriel Jesus. Declan Rice is one of those sort of players where every single game he wants to be involved. It doesn't matter if he's carrying a knock, if he's not 100% fully fit. He's like one of those players. Bernardo Silva said it a number of times that he'd rather play a game every 3 or 4 days and make sure that he's at his absolute best playing to get up to match sharpness rather than being rested. And do you know what it is? When you look at the Premier League table today, some Arsenal fans will be coming into the pubs, on the socials, chatting to their friends. You know, the narrative will be, but we only just about beat Wolves. As I've said many times, and I will keep saying this until the cows come home, this Premier League this season is like no other Premier League we have seen before in our lives. Everyone this season is capable of beating everyone. That same Wolves side come to our ground, battered us, had the better chances. Maybe not battered us, but they definitely had better chances than us. And we equalised in the 95th minute, or 94th minute when João Paulinho rips his shirt off. Today, the only thing that Arsenal needed to do was go out there and get the win. And do you know what really annoys me is I actually thought they were going to slip up. We need Man City to win this league. It's as simple as that. I am not prepared to sit here this entire season and watch this Arsenal team like they have been this season. You know, they slipped up against Liverpool. They drew against Sunderland. The narrative was, but, you know, Arsenal are going to bottle it and bottle it and bottle it. And do you know the mentality you need in players to concede a goal and then 3 or 4 minutes later go out there and bag the winner? At home, you're struggling. It's 1-1, a few minutes to go. Wolves have just equalised. Most teams would have the stuffing knocked out of them. Most teams wouldn't be able to essentially keep going. They just wouldn't. They'd look at it right now and think, well, that's that game done. But this Arsenal team isn't like the Arsenal team of last season. The depth's improved. The overall quality in the squad has improved. We'll get on to Gyökeres in a minute. But the mentality you need, that comes with belief. And that belief comes from Arteta in his players. He's installing a mentality into that team now that's essentially, we will play and fight every duel, every header, every tackle, every sprint, every shot, every cross. They will fight until the very, very end. And look, I didn't get to watch all of the game. I was in the pub, and there was numerous things going on. People were playing pool. You know, one minute I was playing darts, out for a birthday, and I caught probably 45 minutes of it overall. But the parts I did see in it, Arsenal were by far the better team. You can look at the match stats, possession, shots on target, passing accuracy. Every single metric today, Arsenal won. But the narrative, trust me, over the socials, the next couple of days will be, but it was only 2 own goals. If we beat Wolves 2-1, and it was from 2 own goals, I wouldn't give a monkeys. I wouldn't care one bit. Now, they have to follow this form up now. There's winnable games that Arsenal have got to play. They've got Everton on Saturday, then they've got Crystal Palace, and then they've got a Champions League game coming up in January as well, with the other 2 teams. I know Chelsea won today, but I don't really think they're in this title race. Manchester City are definitely the biggest threat to Arsenal. I said on my predictions with Terry that I personally believe that Manchester City will slip up against Palace tomorrow. I just have this feeling, you know, Gyökeres and that Palace back line they're in form, they're playing well. I want to get on to Gabriel Jesus because Victor Gyökeres has been getting an awful amount of stick. He's been told, let's just call it for what it is. He hasn't been the signing that a lot of people thought he would be. And Arteta has come out on a number of occasions and defended him, which he's going to. He's his manager. Now, I think when Arsenal play with Gabriel Jesus up front, they're more fluid. There's a more natural flow to the rhythm in their passing. There's more of a natural flow to his runs. I think Gyökeres is an elite finisher, and he's proven he's an elite goal scorer with the numbers that he had in Portugal. And listen, you aren't a shit striker just because you haven't performed at that level in the Premier League. It's new surroundings, it's a new league, it's a new team, it's a new manager, new players. What I will say is, what's not helping Gyökeres is Kai Havertz is back later this month. Gabriel Jesus was involved, had a really good 30-minute cameo in the midweek against Club Brugge. I think that pressure now is massive on Gyökeres. Now, Terry said to me the other day that Gyökeres is going to need time, and we had a bit of a back and forth about it. We was talking about it off air, basically saying that I believe Gyökeres will come good. I just think it's going to take him a season to be bedded in properly. Gabriel Jesus has played in the Premier League for 5-6 years. Kai Havertz has played in the Premier League for a few years. Marino is the anomaly in terms of there is another central midfielder that can score that amount of goals up front like he can. I think Gyökeres will look at that Gabriel Jesus cameo again today and think, my position is in trouble. And what I will say is, when Gabriel Jesus come on today, he does look fresh. He does look fit. He looks sharp. And I think Gyökeres will be looking at that as a concern. Now, listen, the amount of competitions Arsenal are in, they're in 4 still, they're in the Champions League, they're in the next round of the League Cup. Squad depth is very, very important. And Arsenal this season, when Saka's got injured, Madueke stepped up. When Madueke's got injured, Saka stepped up. There's lots to look at this Arsenal team and go, do you know what? They're very, very, very strong. But I think Gyökeres, when Havertz is back fit, I think Havertz will be the number 1 striker, followed by Jesus. Some people might even say Marino. Some people might even say Mikel Marino is the third choice striker. And I look at this Arsenal team right now, the fluidity they have when Jesus played, I think is better than when Gyökeres plays. Now, Gyökeres can go and prove a lot of people wrong. He could go on an unbelievable... Sorry, the car's making noises. He could go on an unbelievable goal-scoring run between January and May and prove everyone wrong. He's more than capable of doing that. Equally the same as Florian Wirtz is more than capable of doing it in a Liverpool shirt. From what I just saw today and what I've seen in the last few games, Gyökeres is just shot to confidence. Completely shot of confidence to pieces. And I look at this right now as the only way you get a player out of confidence, you get the confidence back in, is by their output, by their performances. But Arteta now has a situation where he's essentially got 4 strikers. There's no other team in the league that is that stacked up front as much as Arsenal are. Wire players, they've got Madueke bagged in the Champions League, Martinelli bagged, Trossard well today, Saka involved. And it's what's really, really interesting is this month they've still got 5 or 6 games. I don't necessarily know if Gyökeres will start against Everton. I think Jesus will start. So, look, it's going to be a selection headache for Arteta. But today was all about them going and getting the 3 points. Defensively, Arsenal were very, very strong up until the very, very end. Fair play to Wolves. They got back into the game. They showed a bit of character, a bit of determination. They got back into it, equalised. And then Arsenal just do what champions do. That is what champions do. When you got a setback, you overcome it. And you overcome it by getting last-minute winners and winning titles. And I think this season, Arsenal will go on to win the title. No one is going to change my mind on that. I was right last year about Liverpool. The run Liverpool had, up until November, but they haven't played anyone. Then they beat Leipzig, Madrid, City, Villa, all in the space of a month. This Arsenal team will do the same. I honestly believe City will be the biggest threat, but I think they will fall away come March, April, May. And what's going to be really, really important is when it comes to the clutch, the business end of the season, do these Arsenal players and Mikel Arteta have what it takes to get over the line? And I believe they do. Yes, it's Wolves. Yes, they're bottom of the league. But at the end of the day, you got over the line. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you again soon.